If you are going to be successful in life, being able to take constructive criticism, learn from it, listen to other people's opinions, figure out how to incorporate them and integrate them into yourself so that you become a better, smarter, more complete version. Track your mistakes, understand your mistakes, constantly be self-reflective. All of that is crucial in being successful. Hey guys, I hope everyone is doing well today. So in this video, I want to go over 5 common mistakes that I see some people making right now in the Pokemon card market. These are mistakes that I myself have made, continue to make, and or are at risk for constantly making into the future. I think most people watching this will probably have made some or all of these mistakes at one time or another. I think that these are all really important concepts for anyone interested in the finances of the Pokemon card market, whether that be for investing or solely for making money purposes and or for collecting purposes and wanting your dollar to go as far as it possibly can. So the first concept I want to go over is overreacting to single sales. Big mistake that people make. The Pokemon market is so vast. There aren't very many of us who there's no one who knows the prices and is following every card in the hobby, and there aren't even very many of us who are following most generations and most different types of Pokemon cards. So most of the content you're seeing out there with a YouTuber coming out and saying, this card has dropped 20 to 30%, and is Pokemon now in a bubble? Is everything collapsing? Didn't realize that in the same 2-week period, this other card over here, this other trophy card, or this other set card, or this other modern card actually tripled in value and went up, while the card they were looking at went down 20 to 30%. And so by just looking at one card or one specific sale, you can really mischaracterize what's happening in such a huge market as Pokemon. So I think it's really important to study the whole market broadly, which I know is very difficult and it takes a lot of time, or at least pick certain cards that represent certain areas and follow those, so you have more of an overall sense of what's happening in the market, what's getting hot, what is cooling off, these types of things. The other important thing to mention there is that even on a single item, be careful overreacting to single sales. This has also been a big issue. Auctions and these types of items in auctions are inherently volatile items. And so just because in one auction a card goes for 20% less or 20% more, it doesn't really mean that fundamentally the supply and demand of that item has radically shifted in any significant way. And what really matters at the end of the day is not what a card is selling for right now, is not even what the card sells for the next few times, but it's the actual, over the long period, what is the supply and the demand going to look like for that item, okay? And any one given auction can go quite a bit higher, quite a bit lower, for manipulative reasons, which we've talked about on this channel. But even if there aren't manipulative reasons in pushing the price up or down, even just that there were more eyes on that auction, that it got into a bidding war on that specific auction, that's why it went higher, or there were less eyes on an auction, someone wanted to put a bid in and couldn't, or tried to snipe it and they missed. These types of things happen all the time, that create that sort of volatility in price point. I think that that's really important. The last thing I'll say tied into this is that another mistake I'm seeing people make within this first mistake, overreacting to these single sales, particularly on graded cards, is not all PSA 10s are the same. Not all PSA 9s are the same. There are strong 10s, there are weak 10s, there are strong 9s, there are weak 9s. And sometimes when a card sells for $1,000 more or $1,000 less, or 20% more, 20% less, this type of thing on a PSA card, it's actually because one card was actually quite a bit stronger than the other, even though they had the same grade. So do more research, try to figure out exactly why a card sold lower or higher. Be patient with that, wait for a few more cards to sell before you overreact, and then also understand that that's just one card in a large Pokemon market, okay? Very important. All right, second mistake that I see people making is that they get comfortable or they only know about one buying option. They only buy from one place. They only buy from one vendor, one store. They don't network, and they don't meet new people and message people on Instagram and message people on Facebook and try to grow that buying and selling network, which is so crucial to be able to sell your cards at good deals to reputable people, and then also get good deals back. I see there are plenty of people who only buy from eBay and they don't know, Yahoo Japan for some Japanese cards. There are people who only buy on eBay and they're missing out on Instagram, they're missing out on Facebook. There are people who only buy on those things and they're missing out on eBay. There are people who only buy in like PWCC auctions and they're missing out on heritage auctions and golden auctions. And I think this is particularly important because as the hobby becomes more established and recognized, there seem to be more and more different auction houses now carrying Pokemon and a broader variety of places where you can buy these cards. And so if you are on the cutting edge of that and you realize that's happening and you can figure out what are the auction houses or where are the places where the cards seem to be selling lower because there are less eyes or less interest, that is where I've gotten some of my deals this year by doing that. Even though I don't feel like buying Pokemon cards was somewhat risky given the overvalued nature and the chaoticness of the last 6 months. There were some options and there were some places and good deals to be found, particularly in those places where less people were looking. So educate yourselves on those. I should probably make a video on all of the different places, all the different pluses and minuses for you guys. But I do think, and this is going to be another point we talk about later on, is the looking for shortcuts and looking for YouTubers to give you those shortcuts and help you out, I think, which is fine. But it's really important for you guys to do that legwork yourself, particularly because, just putting it frankly, there's just so much bad information on YouTube from people who I think are well-meaning and well-intentioned and are good people, but are not like buying and selling high volumes and have not bought and sold $1 million in Pokemon cards and have been, and really know the ins and outs of all of these different options and have really taken the time to think about, what are the better places, what aren't the better places, and are more, I think, giving sort of casual advice. But if you really want to sort of step your game up and get those best deals, on understanding where are the best places to buy things from and which type of item is best to buy at which type of place, and then conversely, only selling from one place versus selling from a lot of different places and knowing where to sell what type of item, all really valuable stuff, okay? The next mistake I want to talk about is not understanding that some cards have much more established price history and a much more stable, slow, gradual increase in price than other items. Now, Pokemon as a whole is not at an established point right now, and it's part of why there's so much anxiety and people are overreacting so much to single sales, whether they be high or low, is because of that lack of established price point and lack of confidence on basically any item in the Pokemon hobby at this point. I mean, we've had basically every item, that has any sort of value at least double in value this year, right? Which is a crazy huge evaluation, okay? But an item doubling in value versus an item 50xing in value is two very different, ball games and worlds. And when an item moves up 50 times in value in a very short amount of time, it is extremely likely that that item is being driven up by speculation and fear of missing out and those types of emotions, which already creates more potential to retrace. The other big issue in items moving up really quickly is they have not been tested by the market long enough. So it could be that a few individuals who are either intentionally manipulating that part of the market by buying up a lot of it to create a new market or to create interest in a market that may actually not be naturally there. That's one possibility. Another possibility is just that the market isn't that deep. And so although there are a few, I think Thompson is a great example of what could happen, okay? Now, I am hopeful on Topsun. First of all, I own a lot of it, so I hope that it remains high in value and continues to go up. But to be completely candid with you guys, Topsun is a good example where there are good fundamentals on Topsun, but the price increases have been so astronomical that the market hasn't had a chance to really test, are these prices sustainable? And what the issue with it is that when prices go up really high in a short amount of time and were never high before, it doesn't give any incentive for people to be grading those cards and then building up those prop reports and selling it into the market, testing out how much demand really is out there. And so we're going to find out in the next year, you know, how much demand is out there for cards like Topsun. Is it just a few fervent collectors who blew up that market, and that when there aren't going to be too many more people interested at those prices, and so we're going to see massive retraces? Or are there going to be enough people to sustain that market? And I sure hope there will be, and I think that there could be. And I think if you like those cards, you shouldn't panic and freak out. But it's very important when you're putting so much money into something, particularly like an item like that, that's far riskier than something like a Gold Star or first edition base or trophy cards, which are even far more safe. Cards where they've been selling at high prices for a long time, where there's always been incentive for people to grade those cards, so likely most of them are out or a large portion of them are already graded, and cards that have been being bought and sold at high prices for a long time, showing us that there's a lot of demand out there over a sustained period of time for those items, unlike brand new markets right now. And I'm picking on Topsun a little bit, but there are a lot of worse offenders, particularly outside of the Pokemon space. You know, brand new collectibles, right? All sorts of brand new things that have absolutely no established price histories that are coming in and selling for thousands of dollars, okay? So those items are inherently much more risky because they haven't been tested by the broader market yet, unlike items that have been tested by the broader market and have a lot more price history. So I hope that concept makes sense to people. It's very, very important, and it's why you need to study your price histories, why you need to study your population reports and all those sorts of things. Okay, next. I see people looking for shortcuts. And I think, yes, listening to people like me and, you know, probably the 10 to 15 to 20 or so other actually experienced Pokemon card investor and collectors who have made tens of thousands of deals and you know, have dealt with, you know, $1 million in product, or at least tens of thousands or $100,000, you know, serious amounts over an extended period of time, who have really been studying this market and other markets. Of course, listening to us and watching our videos will help you increase your ability to hopefully compete in these markets and be effective and do smart things with your money here. But part of the problem of just relying on someone like me or other people like me is that by the time that I'm making these videos and telling people, a lot of people are hearing these things. And so, and frankly, I'm also talking, you know, I have bought a lot of other things this year that have gone up a lot in value using my fundamentals. And I've stayed away from a lot of Pokemon items and a lot of different things, some of which did go up quite a bit, like modern sealed product, but other things that really haven't gone up a lot or have decreased in value using my fundamentals. And so I'm not going to talk about specifically what I'm buying or selling or telling you what to buy and sell. I'm going to teach you these fundamentals. You have to go out there and engage in the market and make those decisions and pick those angles yourself. And they're really, although listening to someone like me and listening to a lot of those other people is a type of shortcut, there isn't any. You have to put in the reps of actually buying and selling and seeing what moves, seeing what doesn't, studying the market, making those connections for yourself. There's only so much that a YouTuber or someone's going to be able to do for you, okay? The other part of that I want to talk about is impatience that I see that goes into that. This feeling of like, I need to get rich quick, and I think there are a lot of people who have come into this market who have only been here 6 months, and it's almost impossible to make smart decisions in that amount of time in a market that is this crazy. So you can listen to me and basically mirror your trades or your buying and selling after me and hope that that's going to go well, or another person, which I think is what a lot of people are doing. But I think having more of a strategy of like, I'm going to realize that I'm new and have the patience and the self-awareness and the lack of arrogance to be like, okay, maybe I need to like take a breath, not overspend, see how these things go, listen to a wide variety of different opinions, take my time, understand and make a long-term plan that I'm going to be in this hobby for 10 to 20 years. How much money should I really budget each month? How much is it appropriate for me to be spending on these things given the fact that I'm very new to this and I don't have that great of an understanding of this hobby? That type of stuff I think is really important if you want to take it very seriously around really maximizing your profit or maximizing your collection in a financially prudent way. Of course, with all of this stuff, if you want to just like have fun and goof around, I'm all for that. But that isn't really very serious investing. That's gambling. That's a lot more akin to gambling, where a lot of people who were gambling this year did very well, but they were really gambling. They weren't really making smart, informed purchases. The last one we're going to talk about is listening only to people who tell you what you want to hear. Big issue in the Pokemon card community. I run into people all the time who are so rude to me, to other people who have different opinions to them, who have different worldviews. Big red flag. When someone gets very defensive when you challenge their opinion, big red flag, okay? If you are going to be successful in life, being able to take constructive criticism, learn from it, listen to other people's opinions, figure out how to incorporate them and integrate them into yourself so that you become a better, smarter, more complete version. Track your mistakes, understand your mistakes, constantly be self-reflective. All of that is crucial in being successful. And the Pokemon community can become such an echo chamber on some of these channels with some of these ideas. As always, I encourage people to disagree with me, make different arguments than I do. I encourage people to listen to a lot of different channels outside of mine to hear differing perspectives, make up your mind for yourself. I think that that's just such an important one to end on. If you find yourself being really defensive when someone argues a really bullish decision, or a bullish position, or really defensive when someone argues a really bearish position, as long as they are being smart and critical and making a respectful, fair argument, or aren't attacking you personally, you're the one who actually has the insecurity and the issue, and you should probably look inside at where your logic is breaking down, because if you don't, you're going to be the one who probably gets hurt and loses money. Okay, so thank you so much for tuning in to this video today. I hope these 5 mistakes have been useful. I would probably make another video like this in a couple of months. I also want to do another how to start collecting Pokemon, how to start investing Pokemon video again. And I'm also going to try and make some videos talking more about how to invest with lower amounts of money, and also beginning to talk about maybe some buying opportunities. I think that Pokemon, the last 6 months, I feel like much better opportunities have been in things like Dragon Ball Z and Harry Potter, and even in Marvel cards when they were extremely cheap and no one was looking at them when I was picking them up, and a few other things that all felt like much better opportunities than Pokemon. I'm beginning to feel like I am cycling back to Pokemon right now. Like there are some opportunities coming back into Pokemon, that the market is becoming more attractive to me, that I'm not hearing as much irrational exuberance, and I'm actually starting to hear some irrational pessimism, which is what I look for when I'm more interested in buying again. Again, I don't buy... I always contradict the sentiments in the market. That's how I've been so successful as an investor. When others are greedy, you should be fearful, which is what I've been the past 6 months of Pokemon. I just don't like the conversations that were happening. Just seemed so irrational, and the irrational exuberance of everyone was just so inflated that I was concerned that too much of that was baked into the prices. Now I'm hearing, as the market sentiment shifts, I'm going to shift what I'm looking at. I do think that we are in a middle holding period where there are different forces pushing the market up and down. I'm not sure where all of that is going to end up. I'm definitely not aggressively buying by any means right now. I don't think it makes sense to aggressively buy, but I think that there are some opportunities starting to open up on certain cards. I think there are other cards that are, and plenty of cards that are definite no's. And as you guys know, I try not to talk about specific cards because I don't want people mirroring my trades. I want people to apply these concepts for themselves and make those decisions for themselves, and hopefully they work out for you guys out there. So again, thank you so much for watching the video. Really enjoying making these for you. Hope they're valuable. If you are enjoying the channel, if you got some value from the video, if you can do me a favor and just like the video and subscribe, I would really appreciate that, as I work hard to provide good content and grow the channel. That really helps me achieve my goals. So thank you for doing that. And I will talk to all of you guys again. Probably have one more video for you this week, and then our usual Sunday live. All right, take care.